What's up, good people? Happy Monday to everyone. Yes, we are back on this vertical format on YouTube, trying something new with our live streams. And hey, what's going on to RN Smith and Precious? I'm glad to see you, friend. I was thinking about you late last night. I just didn't want to send you a message. I hope you are doing as well as possible. I know you're going through a lot. I don't want to say what you're going through on here because I don't know how much you want everybody to know in the world. but so this morning, I just wanted to, we're doing our little let's chat in the morning. Hello, Wendy Williams. I think you joined the VIP as well. And I was like, Wendy? um, Noel and Renee S. Dem folks. I like that. Dem folks. And Michelle Banks and Topaz Spivey, Chanel, all y'all. I appreciate y'all. So this is very informal. That's why I like this because this y'all see a little bit more of me because I can be informal in this format. And then we'll still be doing our regular stuff where I'm putting stuff on the screen and got my outlines and all of that. But this ain't that. This ain't that. I do have I do a little couple notes so I don't forget stuff, but this is very informal. KW, what's up, friend? So today, what I have ahead of me is a ton of editing. Let me know if y'all can hear my music in the background. I'm hoping y'all can't, because I like to have my music on when I'm not doing the regular lives. And Frank and Lee speaking, what's going on? And naturally, Sonia. So yeah, I got a ton of editing ahead of me. I still need to chop down the Three Kings Q&A disaster that we had a live on that last week if I'm not mistaken. So I want to chop that down because I think that was 3 or 4 hours. Most people ain't watching all that, so I want to chop it down so it can reach more viewers. Then we have the Chantel Justin Till or Chantel Williams, who currently is the restaurant owner of Chantel's Justin Till in Sanford, Florida. She was the prey of Darius Crook's kitchen comeback fiasco a few weeks ago. So somebody, I forgot who pointed it out to me over the weekend when we did a bunch of stuff over the weekend. So one of our watch parties, I think it was, they pointed out to me that Chantel had did an interview with a blogger about a week or so ago, almost 2 weeks ago. And so we watched it over the weekend, whatever day, y'all. All these days blow together for me. But we watched it and it was interesting. And she gave a little bit more insight behind the scenes. She also just talked in circles a little bit, which I think is part of nature. But anyway, we got some good stuff out of that. So I'm going to chop that down. That's going to become, so the rest of y'all can see our reactions. And then this week, I'll figure out what day, I'm going to put a live stream where we could just update on some of the stuff with the Three Kings, the kitchen comeback stuff that I hadn't got around to, and, whatever else. And then for those of you who have been watching the Who the F Did I Marry watch party series that we did over here on Velby Reacts, I'm noticing more and more people are, still watching it and catching up. So what I tried to do to help y'all out is I added timestamps for each part. So parts 1 through 50. I was up late last night adding, so y'all have timestamps. So if wherever you left off and fell asleep or whatever, you can now find it easier just by scrolling, across the timeline at the bottom to help you out. And also I'm going to do an update on that this week with the aftermath, the husband, the exes, people coming out about him, all that stuff, his gaslighting. And then I have quite a bit of research to do in addition to what I just told y'all, because I got the Nature Boy cult trial that's happening, resumes today, I will assume. What is this, day 3 maybe? Day 4? Day 3 or 4. So I want to catch up with that, and I ain't going to be able to follow it every day. It's just a lot, but I just want to give kind of like an overview of that. And then like I said, any Three Kings or two kings and a queen updates for the Darius Crook stuff. So that's what we got. But as far as hey Alice and Renee, I don't think I said Renee, but Miss Southern Bells. Anybody I missed, I apologize because the chat is moving. Then last night we did another watch party. We did part 2 of the Where's Wendy Williams. It was shocking, heartbreaking, mind blowing, traumatic. you name it, every adjective. I mean, there were moments, moments that we saw peaks of, the Wendy we knew. But for me, the saddest moment was her with Blac Chyna, and she took off her wig and she became very solemn. And she was like, well, for one, she was like, I'm divorced. My ex-husband is broke. And then she went into, I am Wendy Williams. Oh my God, y'all, that broke me. Yeah, I swear, for those of y'all who was watching live with me last night, I held that together. If I had been by myself, that was a breakdown moment. That broke me down. That, man, because it's like, her. No, she said my name is Wendy Hunter. Wendy Hunter, her original name. But we know, those of us who have followed her know her existence has been based in her career and that Wendy Williams name. And just, I don't know, it was almost like her coming to peace, or a realization that she's separate than Wendy Williams, the character, the personality. Yeah, that was one of those moments. As far as Will goes, the manager, I haven't done my research to really know if Will is still connected. I heard people say he's no longer connected. I'm hoping that's true, but it didn't make him look good. I don't know what the public is saying about. Well, I've heard bits and pieces, but I don't really know what the media is saying about him per se. I haven't been on social media yet this morning to like really see what's happening out there. But I'm curious to see what the public reaction is going to be to Will and also Sean, the publicist. And I heard somebody's commentary. Well, I heard a couple people's commentary on it in regards to how Sean, while trying to make a come up, has actually done the opposite and is really blackballing herself as far as her career goes. I don't see people seeing her as a good person after what we saw, especially yesterday. I think they alluded in the first day to her being a little shady, but then we got to actually see it in action when she took Wendy to LA, supposedly they did go to NBC for a meeting that she was clearly not ready for. Wendy wasn't mentally, ready for. And then she also was asking Wendy if she wanted to go to the Oscars while they were there, which makes me think that was part of her plan in the very beginning. I'm going to get her to LA. I'm going to, she's probably dropping seeds. Wendy's having her, her episodes, and I can see Sean probably dropping seeds of, Wendy, don't you want to get out of here? When was the last time you've been to LA? You know what? Maybe you need fresh air in LA. Oh, you're tired of your stairs? Well, yeah, you need a single level. There are a lot of those in LA. I could see her manipulating the situation to put that in Wendy's brain that she needed to go to LA. And then she gets her there, and her plan is, not only am I going to, set up this random meeting, but I'm also going to then, once I get there, try to get Wendy to go to the Oscars. Because you don't randomly say that unless you got the hookup to be able to get her in. So she may have already committed. Wendy may have already had the tickets, etc., or called somebody acting like she had the authority and said, I need tickets for Wendy Williams. And then Wendy's like, What are the Oscars? That's when you know how serious it is. That's when you know how serious it is. Kev Sr. is saying, Renee is saying, Kev Sr. is saying her sister Wanda allegedly stole $15 million. When it comes to Kevin, I take most of what he says with a grain of salt. I mean, I would love to see proof. I need him to show proof. I think she had lipo as Wendy told her she needed it. Meaning, what's her name? Sean? She was parading Wendy around. Right. Sean was parading her around in LA. And then I'm like, she had her all the way out there in LA. Where was Wendy Williams' security? She got her out there on her Hollywood Walk of Fame at her star, and I didn't see any security. Very careless. Wendy Williams is saying she took advantage of a disadvantaged person. Very sad. Right. Sean should no longer be in Wendy's circle, period. I don't believe Sean made it in the group after that trip. Remember, when they finally got back and Will went to Wendy's apartment and the camera crew, the documentary camera crew was there, he was like, could y'all wait downstairs? Like he wanted to have a private conversation with Wendy and Sean. Then he comes down and gives his version of the recap saying, yeah, I went up there, you know, and I was a little heated. You know, I was stern with them, blah, 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 this and that. I'm like, you went up there and you cursed them the F out. Like, we know, we've seen some of it now. Like, the documentary crew caught some of it. And you got to keep in mind, he knew those cameras were rolling. So if he was talking to her like that with the cameras on, imagine what he said when he knew he needed to ask them cameras to stay downstairs. He knew he was going up there. He probably scared them and everything. And we never saw Sean after that scene. Well, we never saw Sean after her sitting at the table at that restaurant letting Wendy drink. Pink Pearls is saying a lot of people didn't really understand the reasoning behind showing the documentary. I watched The Breakfast Club and they all seem clueless with a lack of critical thinking. You're saying even after last night? Well, have they come on yet? Yeah, they probably would have came on yet. Do you mean even after part 2? Or was it beforehand? Probably beforehand, because they only would have they would be back today. They wouldn't have seen it by Friday. Well, unless they had the media kit or something. Kev Sr. need not say nothing. Exactly. Well, he mad if it occurred. He just mad that the sister beat him to that $15 million. Kev Sr. doesn't have credibility. Right. Wendy was right. I could have saw Sean paying for everything and sending receipts to the Guardians for reimbursement. Yep, probably. Hey, Michelle ATL and Brown, y'all definitely check out Michelle if y'all are not subscribed. For sure, she is the blog goddess. I side-eye Kevin Sr. considering. Chat jump. You know what? Why am I struck? Oh no, it won't. Will it show on here? Wait, the chat will probably show on my computer too. Here we go. It's harder for me to keep up with it on my computer. I mean, on my cell phone. Here we go. Still small. Now I gotta put my glasses on. So Michelle is saying, I felt a way about her son and nephew ordering wine during dinner. Yes, when I saw that last night, they all. It seemed like when the camera panned the table, it seemed like they all had ordered drinks, wine, and then they told Wendy no. And I'm like, well, y'all shouldn't be drinking. If y'all know she got a problem with it, it's taunting her. And then even I don't know if y'all, I don't know, some of y'all caught it for sure, I'm sure. Before Wendy had got there, their father was telling Tommy, slow down with the drinks, like that he shouldn't have any more drinks. And he was like, yeah, I ain't got time. I don't want to deal with that tonight. So that was starting to tell me that as much as we see Tommy on his YouTube channel and he seems to be sober, I've never seen him appear to be intoxicated, but it sounds like he don't know how to handle his liquor because his own daddy was telling him, not tonight, son. And then it was one scene where, they chopped it up. So that dinner scene we did not see in consecutive order. And I could tell because one part they showed Tommy and his eyes were glazed red. They were red and they were glazed over. And you could tell that he was feeling it. But then the next cut, he looked fine again. So I was like, oh, they cut that in because that's when he was talking to Wendy. And it seemed like he was telling her about her drinking in that moment when he looked intoxicated, allegedly. Right. Michelle is saying Tommy is a strange bird. Robin L is saying, yes, that's so weird. Sounds like Tommy Jr. might have a little problem. I don't know. All I'm going off of is that one little scene, but the way his father was talking to him and referencing the drinking, it was as if it was a thing that he expects, that Tommy gonna overdrink and then he gonna act up and he gonna be a problem that they have to deal with. And then we all know that, we know things about Tommy. So he's given us quite a bit over the past couple of years. Let me see. I missed a lot of comments because I was trying to find the best way to figure it out. Oh, maybe this will help too. Then it makes it even like, oh, look at God. Won't he do it? This will work. Yes, she called her brother Kevin. Okay, this is good. Oh, y'all caught. See, I didn't catch that. I missed that part. I probably was reading my chat or something last night during the live watch. Sounds like Tommy Jr. might have a problem, right? The boys asked who ordered the drinks. They should have sent them. Okay, so again, I was kind of back and forth in my chat and watching. So I didn't understand how, because I did see the confusion with the drinks. And then I saw the boys, I think it was Lil Kev was like, I'll take it. So but I didn't, did they ever say who ordered it? Or do y'all have a theory of who ordered the drinks? Did Wendy order all, what was it, like 4 or 5 of them? Did she order all of them? Okay, this is much better because I could actually, if y'all could see the miracle I just did being able to see this chat, like this thing is huge now. No, Kevin Jr. and the nephew said who ordered that, bring it here. Okay, both of them, okay. So it was either Tommy or Wendy. Because right now we got 2 suspects based on what we saw. We got 2 suspects. Hey, Mr. 6'8". This may be a scheme that Todd set up, and maybe Wendy is going to pop back on the scene and surprise all of us with her old self. Hashtag wishful thinking. Yeah, that's a lot of wishful thinking. I mean, it would be great. I mean, would y'all feel real? Would y'all feel real bamboozled and upset with Wendy if this was all like a whole plot for her to like reinvent herself, and then she comes out fine? I would actually prefer that, and I would get over it. I would get over it just to have the old Wendy back. I get over it. Like, okay, you played in our face for how many years? 3 years. Okay, fine. Good to have you back. Did Wendy greet her brother by calling him Kevin? So that's what y'all saw. Okay, I missed that part. Y'all reminded me of stuff telling me stuff I missed. I thought the nephew was asking who ordered the wine. I didn't think him and the son ordered it. Okay, they just decided to take it. I still felt like, I would have told them send it back. They got money, or whoever was paying for it. I would have said send them drinks back. We still gonna pay for them, but don't even just have them sitting here. That was the problem. Like they were still sitting on the table. Maybe they in that moment it was kind of like what the hell's going on. So they just didn't know what to do. So they accepted the drinks. Okay, I'm catching up. Hey, Mahogany Steel. Wendy's dad was on point more than I know. I noticed that too, Southern Belle, during the conversations they were having in the apartment and kind of in general. You saw that the father was more, even on the boat. You could tell he's still with it. He still has all his capacities. Um, and yeah, it's sad. But I felt what I loved about their conversation though was I felt a kindness in him, even when she was having a moment where she wasn't quite lucid. He would let her have that and deviate off. He would course correct her a little bit, and then he would let her jump around, and then he would redirect her. And I was like, it was such a gentle way of working with that. Like Alex, I get her niece Alex. I'm team Alex. Don't get me wrong when I say this. I am team Alex. I love that she was very direct. I love that she let Sean know in the dough. I feel your evil spirit. Don't even hug me. I was feeling all that. The fact that she excused herself from that living room, went in the back to the production crew and told them she needs to go. That she ain't gonna come here and act like she know more about me than my aunt. I don't even know that woman. She got to go if y'all want me to go back in there. And so I loved all of that. I just felt like, and even the conversation she had with Wendy in that moment in the living room, I was okay with it. Now, they cut stuff, so I don't know how deep it went, besides what we saw. But I felt like when she went to the hotel and was visiting Wendy, I guess, was that in LA, y'all? But yeah, in LA. Or was that Florida? I can't remember. But when she was in the hotel room with Wendy, I guess that was Florida. I felt was like, she's a little harsh. Like it's almost like wasn't fully tapping into the fact that Wendy in that moment wasn't all the way lucid, wasn't all the way there. And she was like, trying to like, you got to get your health together first. And, I'm going to keep it real because you taught me how to keep it real. And I'm like, I get it, niece. I get it. But like, there's a time and a place for those things. There are moments that you have to take advantage of. And I felt like that was a lot. Her standing in front of the TV when Wendy's kind of like ready to not talk about that, all of that. Because it wasn't going to change the situation. Like, that conversation wasn't going to change anything in that moment. So I didn't feel like that was necessary. Car Remain, I'm new. What's happening? We are talking about Wendy Williams and the part 2 of her Where is Wendy? Maybe production ordered the wine to be there. You go, Michelle. This is why she's the blog goddess. She be always tapping into all those various angles and the POVs of these situations, things I don't be thinking about in the moment. Totally true. That's probably who ordered it. That's probably exactly who ordered it. Production. Which is why the entire table was probably confused. Didn't think about that. Hey man, I felt the same way. If she has a problem with alcohol, shouldn't have been it. So again, that's a thought that maybe it was production. Yeah, that I don't know. That whole scene was cringy. The scene that was cringy to me, the dinner scene. Tommy on his YouTube channel over 2 years ago, whenever they had filmed that, he talked about when Wendy came to town and they filmed it. He said that he felt awkward. He said that he didn't feel like they really got to be a family the way they normally would. And he was like, yeah, everybody just sitting around staring at each other. So he was saying there wasn't a lot of action going on. However, I guess they pulled together what they could. So it didn't seem quite as uncomfortable as I thought it was, like when they were on the boat. Because he took a picture, or at least he uploaded the picture of them on the boat. And he used it as a thumbnail on one of his videos way back when they did that. And it did look like, I don't even know if he recorded. I feel like I saw a bit of a video clip. But everybody was just staring straight ahead, and Wendy, her father, and Tommy. So it did seem like, okay, that was maybe awkward. But maybe that was one of the moments when they weren't talking during the trip. But you could see the difference when they showed the home movies of Wendy with her family, and she was getting healthy, she was eating, all of those things. You could definitely see that her family is good for her. And how many times did she say last night, I miss my family. I love my family. I miss my family. I love my family. If she miss her family, she love her family. Why are y'all keeping her in New York away from them? Why can't she have a place in Florida for them to be able to, be closer to her? Even if she doesn't live with them, it'd be better if she lived with them, obviously, for many, many reasons. And then the part that killed me was at the end. The last time Wendy was on camera for this documentary was when the production crew arrived at her house, and she was so out of it that they said her eyes were rolled in the back of her head and all this stuff. And Will comes over, and then Will is like finally admitting that it's serious. But even the production crew confronted him and said, this has always been like this. Like, and now you're finally, admitting that this is happening. And it's like this, and they're like, we're wrapping this because at this point, this is about her well-being. And he says, yeah, but that's not, yeah, what I'm saying is, see, it was times, but it wasn't consistently like this. Even you give me one time like this, and I'm like, we finna get you help. What's happening here? Never mind over the years. What, he been around, 2-3 years, about 3 years. Anyway, why am I even entertaining that? Okay, I can't read the little one, so I'm just clicking. Oh, y'all can't see what I'm clicking. I just thought about this. Y'all got it. I'm getting used to this version versus the normal way. Also the thing, I mentioned it last night, but the thing that I caught was when Kev Jr. and his cousin showed up for that lunch with Wendy, and Will was sitting there with Wendy, and they were 40 minutes late. I think they were 40 minutes late because they may have been trying to wait out Will, like they didn't want to be bothered. Now, Kev Jr. said he was in class. I don't know, how true that was or if that really even affected. But what I noticed was as they were walking up to the table and Will was sitting there, you hear somebody say, "Oh Lord," and you see them put the caption there so you know that someone said it. So if you ain't got to wonder what was said. He says, "Oh Lord," is Lil Kev saying, "Oh Lord," as he notices Will sitting there with his mom. He walks up, and as he walks up, Will gets up being performative, like, "Hey buddy, everything's okay," knowing that Lil Kev despises him. He Will reaches out his hand. Kev politely just like, "Fine, we're gonna play this off." He shakes his hand, but Lil Kev never even looks at him. Doesn't even lift his head. I was like, that was very telling. That he really, probably if it wasn't on camera, wouldn't have shook his hand at all. Like, Ninja, don't be playing with me. You know I'm F with you. That's the vibes I was getting. Shanice is saying, "Child, I would be livid, but would be happy in a few months." And back saying, "How you do?" If Wendy was playing in our face. Wishful thinking. Mr. 6'8" is saying, her niece Alex has been around for a long time. Wendy bought her a new car back in the day to support her as a graduation gift. The Wendy, I remember Alex used to be on the Wendy Williams show. Wendy and her niece Alex are very close. Even like the behind the scenes shows, Alex would come every once in a while, and she would be hanging out with her aunt and getting wise counsel and all of that. So that they had a real relationship, for sure. And even that greeting, like when she came, you could just tell that Wendy wasn't fully there. When Alex came and they met in the living room, and Alex said, as they were taking her to Wendy's apartment, how the greetings normally are. And she was like, when they were like, "Well, what kind of greeting you expect?" "Oh, she's going to hug me and she's going to say, how you doing? Not better than me," all of that. And then she gets there and it's like, "Hey," like she wasn't fully there. Pink Pearls is saying, as a caregiver to my mom who had a stroke, I somewhat understand Alex and her getting frustrated with Wendy. She's not used to seeing her aunt in this way and thus treating. I don't know if this thing cut off. It might have cut off part of your comment, maybe. Here it is. Thus treating her like she's the old Wendy. Yeah, and I get it. Like, trust me, I get it. It was just in that moment, it was like, back down, call off the dogs, and we not gonna go nowhere with this. This is not gonna help. I agree, Vel. Miss Southern Belle is saying, I agree, Vel. He was the only one with compassion. Alex was standing on business. Right, Alex was almost like, wake up, aunt, they taking advantage of you. Wake up, put them back in their place. Show these who you are. Like, she was in that space, and it's like, Alex, that's not gonna get us there. That's not. I feel you, but that's not gonna get us there. He did it in a pleasant way, unlike Alex, was just too much with no respect. I feel like Alex was meeting Wendy with the same energy that she has always met her aunt with, and that was their dynamics, that was their relationship. She even said, Alex admitted, she said, this is part of my personality, and this is how I treat all the family. Like, I'm one that, no nonsense, let's keep it real, blah, blah, blah. So, it comes with that territory too. But I'm like, when your aunt has dementia and all these other things, going on. But I see a lot of y'all saying the same thing about Wendy's father. K Sharp said he did it in a pleasant way, unlike Alex, was just too much with no. Oh, wait, did I read that one? Yeah, Michelle ATL is saying she was probably frustrated. I'm sure she was. I'm sure, because it's not only part of dealing with the frustration of, the things she's saying aren't true. She's living in an alternate universe, although, it's all based on her diagnosis. So you got that level of frustration because she's really invested in it, and you want her to not be invested in something that ain't gonna happen. But then you also know that people are taking advantage of this. So there's the frustration of that, and her being powerless, Alex being powerless, and then knowing her aunt is powerless because her aunt isn't who she is. So I get it. I get how, Robin L is saying, Alex is still in a little denial about the situation. Yeah, I feel like, she could use a little bit more like knowledge or education, like in what that is, what it means, what Wendy is capable of, what she isn't capable of, regardless of the great conversations or what the high points. Yeah, Renee Whitfield is saying, I think it's hard for the niece to realize her aunt is in the condition that she's in. Yeah. The end of the 4th episode gave me so much more help. Tiffany J is saying, yes, Tiffany, I totally agree. I will say part 1 and 2, which was the first night, I left that feeling like people were taking advantage of her. They were exploiting her. This was something she would never want for her legacy. I had all of those feelings, a disdain for all involved, all of that sort of stuff. By last night, parts 3 and 4, by part 4 for sure, I was like, oh, I see what they doing here. Okay, this is actually for her benefit. Unfortunately, like anytime you're healing something, you got to peel back the scab, and it ain't pretty. You're going to see all the ugliness of it. And they had to do that in order to get us to this place, in order for the world to see what's really happening to her, and the people who are who have gotten it to this point for I was going to say for better or worse, but really just for the worse. And then even to hear that her conservatorship is up for review this year. I'm hoping the earlier part of this year. It gives me hope that this was laying the groundwork for what they need to prove what's really happening to Wendy. And it's undeniable. And I feel like this is why her family, who is normally very closed-mouthed, we know that we know that Wanda is like very much so not in the public eye. Tommy, that's a different story. We put that to the side. But Lil Kev and Wendy's niece and all of that, we know that they've, even her mother and father, like mother and father just went on the show. They just love, being proud of their daughter. But they've all been quiet until this moment. And because this was pretty much like their last resort in order to get people to really see what's happening. So I really feel like, their hands have been tied. Don't know if, financially they can't afford the kind of legal team that is, needed. But I believe that this is going to be the catalyst. This was, for me, reminiscent of the Surviving R. Kelly doc. When it came out, it just, for those of us who knew R. Kelly for, since he came out, following him for years, we heard the rumors. We heard bits and pieces. But to see it put together like that, it was like, oh no, this is on some next level kind of stuff. And from there, we saw where we are now with R. Kelly, what was R. Kelly. And then also the Free Britney Spears documentary, similar situation to this. And then from that, her conservatorship was exposed. And somebody mentioned in one of the comments under something, the Anna Nicole Smith story, and how when they had that reality show with Anna Nicole Smith, they were showing her. I mean, she didn't have the same issues, like hers was drug and alcohol induced, but they were exploiting that woman, and she was in desperate need of help, and it led to her demise. Now, this is back in the early 2000s or whatever, but it's like, that's kind of what I thought they were going with this when I heard that they were even filming it, like they were just exploiting. But I really feel like at the end of the day, I don't know, y'all let me know. But I feel like at the end of the day, the motive behind this was really to help Wendy. And then I was thinking the fact that Wendy Williams had a great relationship with Lifetime. Remember, she did the TLC movie with them. She did her bio with them. And then, this project. So I feel like, and whatever else, I feel like it's something else. But whatever project she's done with them, at some point, obviously she's established relationships with these people. And I feel like, and they'll, real friendships develop over time. I feel like these people may now be looking out for her. The people she used to work with are now looking out for her. So I don't know. That's just my, uneducated theory, though. Let's see. I can't see the smart guy. Click on everyone. Oh, Miss K Sharp is saying, I Care a Lot is the movie. Yes, it was so telling how the system is flawed. Yes, thank y'all for bringing that up. I saw that movie on Netflix. It was called I Care a Lot. And it was about a lady who took advantage of seniors who didn't have family and friends close to them. And she would trick them into becoming their conservator. Like she had a doctor she worked with who would give false medical reports, etc., to make them seem like they were not capable of taking care of themselves, sell their house, put them in a home, and then just, medicate them, etc., and just be taking their money. And she would plot on people. There are whole guardianship companies. Yeah, it's scary. And even in the documentary, they were saying that, was that in the documentary? But I know I heard that nowadays they lean more towards using professional guardianship companies over friends and families when it comes to these situations. The problem is the guardianship companies, they don't have the love and care. I feel like if they can do something with the financial part be over here and let the family take care of the person. I know, but each situation is unique, but I feel like in Wendy's situation, that is the thing that is going to help her the most. Please, Precious G is saying, please remember to be respectful in the chat. Your message will be deleted. You'll be put on timeout. Are people acting up like that in the chat? What's happening? I've been missing any of those. Well, I have seen some deleted. Now that I think about it, I've seen some deleted messages. What y'all doing? Let's be respectful. Even though Wendy was messy reporting celebrity news, we still need to pray and support our sister during these difficult times. Never kick someone when they are down. Yeah, JC. Yeah, and of course we've been hearing that since the beginning. Like, oh, Wendy's getting her karma. This is what she deserved. All those sort of things. And yes, Wendy has been messy. But I'm team Wendy becoming her highest and best self, for sure. Okay. It's just hard for me to follow the chat, y'all, because it's a lot going on. But anyway, so the other thing I want to talk about before I go, because I'm only going to be on here an hour, the John Amos, because I had it on the thumbnail. I had it on the thumbnail yesterday, too, and then never really dug into it. So John Amos, we do have a update on his situation. I don't know how many of you have been following this story, but I have been following this story closely. And there was an update that came out a couple days ago from, I think he's a blogger, Artemis Gordon. And, I can't put it on the screen. I'm trying to get used to this. But anyway, the post reads, my plan for today was to be all about questions, but first, I want to give you all an update on our legend, John Amos. He is not doing well. He is currently in Cedars-Sinai Hospital under an assumed name, as his son KC wants no one to know. I would give you his medical prognosis here, but I didn't think I'm at liberty to do so yet. You all would be as heartbroken as I am. KC has made it so only he, Belinda Foster, Eugene Drummond, and the password to ring him up and enter. Has the password to ring him up to enter the room to visit him. No one outside of those three has seen him in person since July of 2023. We're not far. It won't be far from a year. While KC is living in Marina Del Rey, controlling everything, John has been manipulated to think that he's on his own and that no one besides those three love and care for him. His daughter Shannon is horror-stricken that her father will die alone and she won't be able to say goodbye. What is worse out of all of this is the question of, is KC manipulating all of this to sell an effing documentary? Please send your positive energy to the family now. So this, of course, is alleged, but this is according to Artemis Gordon. However, I did a video a couple months ago on the Hollywood Reporter article related to this family's ongoing beef and what's been going on with the care of John Amos and the accusations. And the Hollywood Reporter did a beautiful job, really in depth. They interviewed everyone on every side, John Amos, KC, Shannon, and, they gave the background and all of that. And really the story just exposed pretty much the origin story of how it got here and the other accusations that have been against KC as far as him doing the same exact thing to his mom, allegedly. So I'm gonna what I'm gonna do is include this this particular update in, and then I'm gonna kind of re-upload that Hollywood Reporter story, because when I looked at the views, I was like, it actually looks like a lot of people did not see it, but you get to see it laid out that something ain't right when it comes to this situation. And KC has continued to plead his innocence in general in the public, as well as in my DMs. At last we heard from KC, He was saying he sent me a DM with it was a video of a picture of a group of white people. I think it was like 5 to 7 white people. My Patreon executive VP, y'all remember, I showed y'all. You let me know if y'all remember how many people were in that picture. But it was a group of white people in a picture. He shows that picture on the screen, and then the clip jumps to KC, his father sitting down, KC standing over him. He puts the phone in front of him, and he says, "Dad, who are these people here in the photo?" And I can't remember his exact words, but he was like, "The monsters who took advantage of my money or stole my money," or something. And then KC's caption. Now, I ignored it at first. I ain't say, well, shit, I ignored it. I'm sorry, shoot. I ignored all of them. I still ain't replied. But he now he know I seen it. But the caption was, first he didn't say anything. Then I ignored it. So like a week later, he hit me back, and then I think he gave a little bit more to the clip or something, but then he put the caption under of you guys need to be looking into these people. And it's like, you ain't gave us nothing. Looking into them for what? What? Oh, KC. Oh. Right, Robin L. It's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah, sending prayers. So send prayers up for John Amos. We don't know what his condition is exactly. But yeah, that's the update. And I want to keep y'all appraised of that, because of the fact that when we hear whatever's next, I don't want it to be like totally, out of the blue surprise kind of thing. Miss Southern Bell's praying for John and his that family crazy. Robin L., he's a whole weirdo. Yeah, it's a lot. I'm sure he'll be watching this. Hey, Casey. But yeah, that's all I have for now. Today I got a lot of behind the scenes stuff to get done, so I don't think I'll be on. I know I won't be, because I got plans for this evening too. So I won't be on today, but tomorrow I'm going to try to have something going. And I'm going to try to do these, a few mornings each week. So just stay tuned. Make sure you're part of our VIP text community. And that way you'll get the notifications when we're going live for our little morning chit chat, more informal like this. And I'll get better at figuring out how to read more of the messages, etc. But with that, y'all have a great Monday. Make sure to be safe out there, and take care and be blessed. Peace.